Hey there, podcast lovers. Looking for a fresh take on the world? Tune into Nikki's World, where we dive into everything hitting the headlines and chat about just what's on our minds. No filters, just real talk. Whether you're sipping your morning coffee or unwinding after a long day, Nikki's World is your go-to for genuine commentary on the real world. Subscribe now if you want to hear the real deal on what's going on. Join the conversation on Nikki's World, where every episode feels like catching up with an old friend. Don't miss out.
What's up, y'all? Let's do this. Oh, hi guys, welcome to Nikki's World. I'm Nikki, your host, and today, guys, we gotta talk about Google finally admitting that they censored conservative content. And boy, they are admitting it in the worst way because I got my reasons why they're admitting this, and I'm gonna tell you about that on the show today. But before we go any further, guys, if you guys love Nikki's World so much, seriously, y'all. Can y'all please consider donating a cup of coffee for me? Because for the price of a cup of coffee at Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, and Cumberland Farms, guys, you guys help keep this podcast show alive. You guys help me curate more stories, more topics like this to talk about. I do accept Bitcoin donations. I am on Ko-fi, guys. If you guys want to support, sponsor, donate, and tip to Nikki's World, if you guys love Nikki's World so much, seriously, y'all, please hit that like, subscribe, please give me a review. Good, bad, and the ugly. Also, guys, I do have a bunch of affiliate links. First off is Minds.com. Minds.com is a Connecticut based social media platform. They are an awesome alternative to Facebook, ladies and gentlemen. So if you guys value your right to freedom of speech like I do, and you value your right to speak freely without fear of censorship, guys, well then, head on over to my friends at minds.com. Also, guys, I do have the most awesome, and I mean the most awesome affiliate link with Byrna. Byrna is the less lethal self-defense company, guys. They make their top-of-the-line Byrna SD, Byrna LE, TCR, Mission 4, and their newest, guys, their compact launcher. So if you guys value your right to the Second Amendment and your right to self-defense, but you guys want to do it in a less lethal manner, ladies and gentlemen, well then, head on over to my friends at Byrna.com. Also, ladies and gentlemen, I do have the most awesome, and I mean the most awesome affiliate link with North Shore Medical Supply. North Shore Medical Supply, they make their top of the line North Shore Megamax diapers, their North Shore Supreme pull-ups, and their Eterna boosters, guys. So if you guys know someone out there that needs to wear adult diapers, that needs to be put in adult diapers, like I do, guys, well then, send them on over to North Shore Medical Supply, and they will make sure that they are diapered up and padded up as always. And ladies and gentlemen, before we get this show on the road, literally, guys, if you guys love this episode and any of my other episodes on Nikki's World, seriously, y'all, can y'all please consider sharing this across all the social media platforms that are out there today? Wait, wow, yeah, that was a mouthful. Yeah, that was a mouthful. And yes, guys, I am diapered up as always. I am in my North Shore Megamax diapers with my Eterna boosters, and I'm also in my onesies from Little Comforts as well. So I'm diapered up, padded up. Let's get on with the show, shall we? So today, guys, I want to talk to you about what Google just did, guys. Google, through Representative Jim Jordan, Google finally admitted that in the last 4 years, under the Brandon administration, or as I call it, the Pino, the president in name only, they were censoring conservatives, including then FBI, well, now FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino. They were censoring his channel, his content. They were basically censoring anyone who talked about COVID, ivermectin, or anything related to that. They were censoring content the last 4 years, and now through Representative Jim Jordan is admitting that yes, they were ordered, they were pressured, they were threatened by Joe Biden and his authoritarian Democrats to censor conservatives. Wow. This came out like a couple days ago while I was at work. And wow, finally admitting that they were pressured, they were bullied, threatened, and basically intimidated to censor conservative content. I'm telling you guys, that is nuts. That is literally, ladies and gentlemen, that is nuts. Because here's the reason for this, guys. Here's the reason. This is basically government telling telling businesses what they can and cannot do. That's against the law in this country. Democrats for the last 4 years bullied Facebook, YouTube, okay, then Twitter, Instagram to censor, bully, and basically suspend and block anyone who talks about, oh, COVID, the mask, or as I call it, the Branch Covidian bullshit. Yeah, they were doing that. And I got this one article from the Right Scoop, okay? In breaking, Jim Jordan announces that Google is apologizing for for censorship. I'll read you the headline. Jim Jordan has just announced, okay, just announced that Google's apologizing for political censorship and specifically with YouTube and is inviting back people who were kicked off the platform. Here's what he writes, and this is from his tweet that was on September 23rd, okay? Breaking, due to our oversight efforts, Google commits to offer all creators previously kicked off YouTube due to political speech violations return to the platform. But that's not all, okay? Here's the thing. This is a good thing for freedom of speech because you had a company like Google, who owns YouTube, by the way, who basically kicked off, suspended, deplatformed anyone who who spoke freely or who had an opinion that Joe Biden and his fucked up Democrats didn't like. Yeah, that is political censorship at the highest levels. Now, Google, for its part, is saying yes, we are gonna allow people who was previously kicked off of YouTube, of not YouTube, to come back. That's not enough. That's not enough. I think what Jim Jordan should be doing is calling for restitution. That means Google has to pay up the nose to people who got suspended, deplatformed, and removed from YouTube. People, Google needs to pay dearly. And in this article also from the WorldNet Daily, Google confirms Biden demanded censorship of truth about COVID and elections. Right here, read you the headline. Google has just confirmed in a letter to Congress that Joe Biden demanded censorship of COVID and election information on YouTube that conflicted with his ideological agenda at the time. And I'll read you the quote. It is unacceptable and wrong when any government, including the Biden administration, attempts to dictate how the company moderates content, and the company has consistently fought against those efforts on First Amendment grounds, Google's lawyer said to a letter in Congress. The letter was a result of oversight work by Representative Jim Jordan, a Republican from Ohio. Basically, Google admitted that Joe Biden in the last 4 years demanded and dictated to social media companies, including YouTube and Facebook, to kick people off the platform who questioned about COVID and the election. At this point, I'm gonna just say like this: YouTube, YouTube needs to be broken up. YouTube needs to pay up the nose to people who got kicked off of YouTube, who had their content censored. YouTube needs to do that. Google needs to do that immediately. At the same time, the people who did that at the behest of the Brandon administration, ladies and gentlemen, they need to go to jail. They need to be perp walked into federal prison like yesterday. They need to be perp walked, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm telling you right now, letting them get away with this shit, no, they need to be punished severely. They need to be punished so fucking badly that they will never ever do this ever fucking again as long as they're alive on this third rock from our very sun. I'm telling you this. I'm telling you this, guys. They need to be punished severely. They need to be punished severely. And then I got this one article, ladies and gentlemen, from reclaimthenet.org. Google admits Biden White House pressured content removal, promises to restore banned YouTube accounts. Google admits bending to political pressure, but only long after the damage was already done. Yep, right here. After years of denying bias, Google concedes that it gave in to pressure from the Biden White House to remove content that did not breach its own rules. The admission comes alongside promise to restore access to YouTube accounts permanently removed for political speech related to COVID-19 and the elections and topics where the government officials had applied behind the scenes pressure to control the narrative. This move followed sustained scrutiny from the House Judiciary Committee, which reclaimed the net covered extensively, led by Chairman Jim Jordan, who issued a subpoena and spearheaded an investigation that revealed the extent of the government influence on content moderation decisions at Google. Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say this. They admitted that they were pressured, bullied, and threatened by Joe Biden and his fucked up authoritarian tyrants in pressuring YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and then Twitter to kick off people they didn't like because they had an opinion, viewpoint, and belief. I'm gonna say it like this: there should be criminal investigations into the last 4 years. The people who ran this authoritarian fucked up government in the last 4 years, ladies and gentlemen, there should be mounting criminal investigations. These people don't deserve to live in a free society ever again. These people need to be perp walked into fucking federal prison by now. I don't care how long this investigation takes. These people deserve to be thrown in prison. These people, literally, guys, in my opinion, deserve to be perp walked into prison. And then I got this article from the Federalist. Google admits to choking conservative speech, offers zero compensation for damages. Like I said, Google needs to compensate for people that got kicked out. Google's saying, oh no, we're not going to offer compensation. We're just going to allow them to come back. No, that's not enough. That's not enough. That is not enough. Google needs to go bankrupt, in my opinion. Google needs to Google needs to go bankrupt so fucking badly that they have to sell off YouTube. They literally have to. Google has to go bankrupt, in my opinion. The same can be said for Facebook. If it turns out that Facebook did the same thing that YouTube was doing, Mark Zuckerberg needs to go bankrupt. Mark Zuckerberg needs to basically go from woke to fucking broke, in my opinion. That's why I'm not on Facebook anymore, even though I'm still on his own Instagram. But my opinion on that shit, that needs to go. That needs to go like yesterday. That needs to go. And if it turns out that Facebook also did this shit, Jim Jordan, where the fuck are you? Where the fuck are you on this shit? Yeah, Jim Jordan, where the fuck are you on this shit? Because I'm telling you this right now. If it turns out that Facebook did this along with YouTube, censoring and kicking off conservative content off of their platform at the behest of the Biden illegitimate White House, there needs to be criminal investigations, ladies and gentlemen. There needs to be criminal investigations. These people do not deserve to be let out in polite society ever again. These people do not deserve to be let out. The fact that a previous government administration was able to bully social media companies to kicking out people who spoke up against COVID-19 or the election or about the Brandon White House, even though that was protected speech, but they still were pressured and bullied by them. People who did that should be in prison by now. Should be sitting in a fucking federal prison in the middle of nowhere for the rest of their fucking natural life, in my opinion. And yes, I'm standing up for Dan Bongino, who's now deputy director of the FBI. He had his platform on YouTube removed. Yeah, I wonder what he feels now if he hears the news of it. Wonder how he feels. Yeah, to me, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say this clearly, guys. There needs to be compensation. letting you Google and YouTube off the hook by saying, "Oh, we're just going to let people off that we kicked off back on the platform." No, there needs to be compensation. There needs to be monetary compensation as well, because some of these people, ladies and gentlemen, built their businesses on YouTube, built their industry on that. And then for YouTube to kick them off, or for YouTube and Google to kick them off at, at the behest of the Biden administration, there needs to be some political, social, and monetary compensation. There needs to, ladies and gentlemen. There really needs to. Because here's the thing, these people, Dan Bongino included, built their businesses along on this platform. And then for Joe Biden and his fucked up authoritarian tyrant Democrats to kick them off because they didn't like their political opinion, viewpoints, and beliefs, even though it was protected by the First Amendment? No, no. They. This is what I believe should happen, ladies and gentlemen. This is what I believe should happen. Not only the people who got kicked off should be allowed to come back. There should be monetary compensation. The people who did that should be thrown in fucking prison and never ever see the light of day ever again. They should never. They should never. But the fact of the matter is, you have a fucked up administration who allowed this shit to go on. Nah, at this point, guys, nah, at this point, anyone who was associated with Joe Biden in the last 4 years should be thrown in fucking federal prison. It's that simple. Anyone who was associated with Joe Biden in the last 4 years, who had a hand at censoring people's right to speak freely, should be thrown in fucking prison. Pretty much. They should be thrown in prison. Mhm. They should never, ever see the light of day. They should never. And I'm telling you this, man. I'm telling you this. That that goes against the core of what this country is all about. Okay? You have a right to speak freely. Okay? It doesn't mean that you have to go and censor somebody's free speech rights. You know, it doesn't mean that you have to say, "Oh, this. Oh, I want these people kicked off." No, that's not. That's not what America's all about. During the last 4 years, ladies and gentlemen, conservatives, libertarians, Republicans were getting kicked out of YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, what was then Twitter, for speaking freely, for saying stuff that is basically protected by the First Amendment. Yeah, yeah. Like, for example, people got kicked off of what was then Twitter over, like, anything from, like, talking about the transgender cult to COVID-19 to the Reagan administration. Yeah, including me. Back in 2018, I got booted off of what was then Twitter for defending myself from the violent transgender cult. Now in 2024, I'm back on because of Elon Musk. Yeah, pretty much. But the problem is, the people who kicked out conservatives on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and what is then Twitter, should all be fucking thrown in federal prison. Should all be fucking in a prison cell in khaki jumpsuit by now. They should be. I don't care what their political opinions. I don't care what their beliefs or viewpoints. I don't. But all I'm going to say is this, ladies and gentlemen, is that these people don't deserve to be in polite society ever again. They don't. They don't. And I'm telling you right now, guys, and I'm telling you this right now, these people literally deserve to be thrown in prison. And they literally, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, they literally deserve to be in prison for what they did in the last 4 years. And in the last 4 years, I tell you what, people who spoke up about COVID-19 or the election being stolen, yeah, we got censored. We got blocked, suspended, deplatformed. That's why we had alternative social media platforms back in the last 4 years. That's why we had alternative social media platforms like Gab, MeWe, Minds, Gather, Rumble, Truth Social, Vero Social. We had alternative social media platforms because of that, guys. Yeah, we did. And the left finally figured that out too, because they started their own echo chamber, which is called Blue Sky, or as I call it, Blue Cry. Yeah, yeah, they got their own. But we built our own empire back then. So now they're trying to mimic and copy us. Yeah. That's why after we got booted off the liberal platforms, okay, we started our own. Hell, I'm on alternative social media more than I am on X. Yeah. But I will tell you all this. I'll tell you all this. I don't cry because Facebook booted me out. I go like this. Your loss is their gain. Yeah. It's Facebook's loss for their gain. But to me, I hope this. What's happening to YouTube right now? I hope it happens to Facebook as well. I hope the people who got booted out of Facebook, including me, are forced by Jim Jordan to be let back in. And if they're not, I'm telling you right now, ladies and gentlemen, Mark Zuckerberg better pony up the cash, or he better have some good legal team to defend his ass if he gets hauled into federal court. He better have his good legal team. Because I'm telling you right now, I'm betting you this right now, and y'all can flag it on September 25th, 2025. I'm betting you right now, Mark Zuckerberg is probably shitting in his pants, finding out that YouTube has to bring back people that were blocked, suspended, and deplatformed. Yeah, he's probably shitting in his pants right now, going, "Oh shit! If Jim Jones gonna do that to YouTube, oh shit, we better figure out a way to do it to like that shit. We better figure out how to play nice to him, or else we're gonna be screwed." Yeah, that's what's gonna happen. That's what's gonna happen, ladies and gentlemen. But I'm telling you this. I'm telling you this, folks, for your own good. What what YouTube did to conservatives, let's just say it's like this. Not only are these people going to be allowed back on their platform, there should be compensation. And Jim Jordan should be demanding that YouTube compensate for the people that they kicked out. Yeah, there should be monetary compensation. Because I'm gonna tell you this: if YouTube has to pay YouTube or its owner, Google, has to pay up the nose, they know they're gonna go broke. They know they're gonna go poor. They know they're gonna go bankrupt because the people that they kicked out is probably into the millions or billions, and they're gonna go bankrupt because of that. Telling you, telling you, that's what's going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. That's what's literally going to happen. And now we got to talk about this story that came up yesterday, ladies and gentlemen. Now we got to talk about this, okay? Now we have to talk about this. From the Daily Caller, shooting reported at a Texas ICE facility. Suspect and multiple victims are dead. Leftist terrorism strikes again, ladies and gentlemen. Leftist terrorism strikes again. I'm gonna say this for the billionth time. The federal government needs to start cracking down on the left. They need to start cracking down on the violent extremist left. Okay? We can't pussyfoot around these people anymore. We cannot pussyfoot around these people. We can't. And I'm telling you this right now, the left is basically getting more and more and more violent by the minute. Trump needs to start dropping the hammer on these people. Okay? There's no, oh, we're just going to designate them as a terrorist and that's it. No. He needs to start sending Cash, Dan, Christie, and Pam after these people. That means throwing everything, including the fucking damn kitchen sink at them. Okay? And when it's all said and done, these people need to be thrown in prison and never ever let out in polite society ever again. That is that simple. But the problem is, ladies and gentlemen, Trump's pussyfooting this. If Trump wants to be known as a president who cleaned up this country, who made this country safe, cleaned up crime, deported all the illegals, he needs to ratchet this up a notch. He needs to drop the hammer. He needs to literally go after these people. I tell you this, there are violent leftists on X who threaten to shoot, assassinate conservatives, Republicans, libertarians, and independents. The These people who go on shit talk and threaten to assassinate conservatives. Where is Cash and Dan on this shit? Why aren't they being cracked down? Why aren't they being arrested immediately? Why aren't FBI agents going after these people and basically kicking the door and dragging them to jail? That's my question here. Why? 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 Because we're pussyfooting around this. We are. We are. We're literally pussyfooting around these people and trying to placate. Enough with the placating here. Okay? Enough with the placating. It's time to go war on crime, war on the left. It's time to start arresting these people, throwing these people in jail, and start enforcing no bail on these people. That's simply put. States and cities have this thing called cashless bail, where if you commit a crime, that means you get a written promise to appear, but then that means that you can go out and commit more crimes. No, it's time to literally go war on crime. It's time to literally take these people off the streets, take these people and throw them in jail. Okay, it's really that time. But yesterday, an ICE facility in Texas was attacked. The shooter offed himself because he knew once law enforcement was going to get him, shit, he's gonna face the death penalty. So he did them in the legal system a huge favor. But what he left behind was was like a magazine clip that had like anti-ICE written on the board. Telling you, leftist political violence is only going to get worse before it ever gets better. And at this point, Mr. Trump, you need to start ratcheting this up. You need to literally start cracking down on the left. If states aren't going to crack down on the violent left, the feds need to do this. The feds need to start making examples out of these people. The feds need to start showing that we're getting tough on this because states are not going to get tough on this, especially in blue states. We're going to get tough on this at the federal level, and then people are going to go to federal prison instead of state prison. It's really that simple. The fact of the matter is, ladies and gentlemen, the violent left needs to be arrested, prosecuted, and thrown in prison. They really do. I'm telling you, if it gets worse by the end of the year, we're only into September, okay, ladies and gentlemen? We're only in September. It's like what? About October, November, December, 3 months away till the end of the year. If this gets worse than it is, ladies and gentlemen, I am telling you right now, and I'm telling you, we're going to be at a point, ladies and gentlemen. I've said this in my previous episodes. We're going to hit that red line of basically a full blown civil war. We're going to hit that red line of political terrorism and civil war. And when we cross that red line, ladies and gentlemen, there's no defending this. I don't care what leftist lunatic defends it. It's not defensible. We're not defending it. And if you're going to defend violent terrorism, you can go fuck yourself for all I care. You can go screw yourself upside the head for all I care. The fact of the matter is, people need to start cracking down on this. The government needs to start doing their damn job. Doing the job that I voted for. And I voted for to crack down on these violent leftist thugs. Yeah. And I'll say this to people. If this happened in the 1990s during the war on crime, half of these people, almost half of these leftists would be thrown in prison by now. Half of them would probably be sitting in prison probably for what? Let me see. 10, 15 years? Yeah. They would be sitting their ass in prison for the next 10 or 15 years. They literally would. Yeah. But what I'm trying to say like this, guys, okay? And why I'm saying this is because from the Daily Signal, go straight to hell after ICE facilities shooting. J.D. Vance condemns Democrats for villainizing ICE agents. Because here's the thing. Leftists are all about open borders. No one's illegal. Their soft on crime approach on like, oh, we don't need prisons, we don't need cashless bail. Yeah, and then they demonize ICE agents for doing their job and enforcing the law. Yeah. And then the left goes, oh, no one's illegal. But then when you show who's arrested, the ones that have violent criminal convictions, or the ones that are wanted by their own country but fled to America to escape prosecution. Yeah, yeah. And they're demonizing ICE agents for it. I go like this, ladies and gentlemen. I go like this. These people are off their rockers. These people are insane. These people are nuts. Yeah, these people are. Yeah. And then this one, and then this one from WorldNet Daily. Fired indiscriminately. Leftist sniper shoots at ICE facility, kills detainees instead of officers. How does that look? Leftists wanted to attack ICE agents, but then the leftist shooter instead shoots detainees. Oh man. Oh man. I'm just gonna say like this, man. These are the same leftists that want to start a violent civil war or violent uprising, overthrow the US government, but they can't even shoot straight. I'm gonna say like this. I'm gonna say like this on the podcast show here. I'm gonna say this. The side that knows how to use guns and knows how to shoot straight is the side that's gonna win any violent uprising, any leftist civil war. We're gonna win. Our side's gonna win. I would say like this: the side that can't shoot straight, that doesn't know what bathroom to use, doesn't know what sex they are, but can't eat meat without crying, is the side that's gonna lose badly, and they're gonna lose so horribly that it's not gonna end well for them. It really isn't, guys. It really isn't. Yeah, it really isn't. But I'm just gonna say like this, ladies and gentlemen. The side that knows how to shoot well is the side that's gonna win. And we're gonna win big time. And you know the left, they were like they were probably celebrating that they were shooting at like ICE officers, but then when it turns out they were shooting detainees by by accident, they're like, eh? You saw them slow walking that back because they were realizing I thought these guys were gonna shoot at ICE officers, but it turns out they inadvertently shot at detainees. I'm gonna say this, man. The side that knows how to use guns, knows how to defend themselves, is the side that's going to win the Civil War and win any insurrection that the leftists is going to cause. I'm telling you, man, the side that knows how to use guns is the side that's going to win. And the side that doesn't know how to use guns, doesn't know what sex they are, what gender they are, or basically can't eat meat without crying is the side that's going to lose royally, and they're going to lose up the nose. Yeah, yeah. As I read that article, I'm like, yeah, these people are off their mind. These people are way, way, way beyond nuts. These people are way beyond nuts. Yeah, they really are. They really are, guys. They really are. Yeah. Yeah, they really. Anyway, I want to talk about these two articles, okay? One comes from the Federalist and the other one comes from American Thinker. From the Federalist, Trump named Antifa a terror group in Orange, now his chance to treat it like one. From the American Thinker, Antifa must be destroyed. Like I said, on Monday when Trump declared Antifa to be a terrorist organization, now's his chance to get rid of them. Now his chance to send every federal law enforcement agent he can find and go after Antifa. Now that they're declared terrorists, like the drug cartels, every law enforcement officer should be going after these people. Every law enforcement officer should be arresting them. Okay? Every charge that they can throw at them, from terrorism to RICO, okay, should be thrown at them in court. Literally. Every one of them. Because they're designated as a terrorist organization. Trump needs to now strike the hammer at them and hit them hard, so hard that they never rear their ugly head ever again. And then the people that they catch get thrown in prison and never ever see the light of day. And since Antifa is now a terrorist organization, and if they get caught, arrested, prosecuted, and thrown in prison, they're not going to a state prison where state prisons they pander to them and they let them live out their sentences in women's prisons. Oh no, no, no. Federal prison, they go to a men's prison, whether they call themselves he, she, they, them, or it, or whatever mental illness shit. No, they go to a men's prison, whether they like it or not. And Trump, like I said, Trump needs to strike the hammer now. If he wants to cement his legacy, okay, when his 4 years is up, he better do it now. Because I'm telling you this. When 2028 elections start rolling around the door, if he wants to cement his legacy that he cleaned up crime, he cleaned up this country, got rid of all the illegal immigrants in this country, yeah, and then took down Antifa, if he wants to be known for that, he better do it now. He better do it now. If he wants to build a legacy that people can talk about for the next 30 to 100 years, Trump needs to do it now. Just telling you right now, Trump needs to do it now. Because if he wants to cement his legacy on getting rid of Antifa, cleaning up the border, getting rid of illegals, cleaning up crime, and bringing jobs back, bringing the economy back, and all that good stuff that he said he would do, you better do it now, ladies and gentlemen. Because I'm telling you this right now. If he did this before the end of his term, he'll cement his legacy and people will be talking about it well into 2050, well into the next century. They'll be talking about it, reading about it in history books. That's why if Trump wants to do this now, he better strike the hammer while it's hot. Okay? He better hit Antifa while it's hot. That means arresting them, prosecuting them, holding them in federal detention, no bail, holding them until the outcome of their court case. And if they're prosecuted and they're thrown in prison, throw them in prison. But I'm telling you this right now. If he wants to cement his legacy, he better do it while the hammer's hot. He better do it while it's hot right now. Because I'm going to tell you right now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you this right now. If he doesn't do this, and come the next presidential election, that makes it harder for J.D. Vance to continue the MAGA legacy. Yeah, that makes it harder come January 2028. Okay? So if he wants to cement his legacy and pass on the torch to J.D. Vance and Trump Jr. to do this, or J.D. Vance and Trump Jr. or J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio or J.D. Vance and RFK Jr., he better do this now. Because I'm telling you this, ladies and gentlemen, if he did this, he cement his legacy, he makes it easier for his incoming president in 2029 to literally say, I'm going to continue what Mr. Trump has done, and we're going to clean up this country and clean up this nation, and we're going to make America great for eternity. Yeah, he better start doing it, ladies and gentlemen. And this is why I'm saying this. By the time Trump leaves office in 2029, he better cement his legacy. And if he wants to cement his legacy, he better go after Antifa with everything, including the goddamn motherfucking kitchen sink, ladies and gentlemen. He better do it. Because I'm telling you, he's got Cash, Dan, Christy, and Pam. Go after him. Go after him. I mean, literally, run him out. Run him out. Prosecute him. Throw him in prison. Do whatever it takes, guys. Yeah. Yeah. Wow, guys. Wow. That was a good show, man. That was a good long show. That was a good show. I hope y'all enjoyed the show today, man. I hope y'all did. Yeah. Yeah, I hope y'all did. And I thank you guys for listening to Nikki's World. I'm Nikki, your host. I will see y'all soon. Bye for now. You just listened to an episode of Nikki's World. Thanks for listening. We'll see y'all soon. Bye for now.